Hello there and welcome to Mystic Brick. This is the next D&D single plate build, the Desert Tomb of the Archlich, Part 1. I can't wait to show you all the intricacies of what's going on here, so without any delay, let's just hop right on into it. I have put down some very basic brickwork at the beginning here, just so I can get an idea of where everything is going to be placed. And now I'm going to start to build up the exterior of the tomb, just using a bunch of masonry, the sand blue, and the light stone gray. I decided that these colors would be kind of a nice fit for this desert scene. I liked the contrast, and yeah, I think it all turned out pretty well. Going to jump forward a little bit and show you the doors that I'm going to put on the front side of the tomb. I'm using ingots for that, some of the metallic gray ingots and then also the sand blue ingots. And you can see this little portion here is going to be the mechanism which allows the door to move forward, and we'll see more about that a little bit later. But yeah, just gonna continue to build up then and get more stuff inside the tomb. I've got a few artifacts in there, and I'm just gonna kind of play around with how this is going to work. I'm kind of figuring things out at this point and seeing what makes sense. But yeah, this is the basic functionality of it. I think I'm liking the way that's gonna turn out. It's gonna slide on those ingots pretty easily. I have a Technic bar to push it into place once the mechanism is operated by our adventurers. You know, without getting too complicated, this looks good. Let's keep a moving, and I'm just going to continue to build up more of the masonry and finish off the exterior of the tomb entrance then. Once that's all looking good, I'm just going to show you this little palm tree that I was going to put into place here. You know, I'm using the reddish brown nose cones here as a sort of trunk, and then I've used a tailpiece as well, which I'm going to attach to a single brick with knob on the side. And then you can see I've used the palm leaves and a bush turned upside down there. I think this all turned out pretty well. Here's the top of the tomb, which I've already made, and this is the first little bit of sand that I've put down, so I've mounted it on top here just to kind of give it that buried look in the desert. And now that we've done all of that, I'm going to remove that tree and just build up the rest of the little sand dunes that will be around here. They will be small sand dunes. I didn't have a whole bunch of bricks to work with here. You know, I find that sand as an element is quite challenging to emulate. There's not quite as many smooth and round pieces as you would like, perhaps, that work in the most effective way. But I think by using a combination of a bunch of these pieces, it actually ends up looking really pretty good. I might in the future try to include some additional pieces that I haven't this time around, but I was using what I had, and I'm quite happy with the way this has all turned out. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. What might you have done, or how might you have gone about this? I'd be very intrigued to know. Ultimately, you know, as a first go around, I'm happy with this result. I'm just going to continue to add all those little pieces in around the side of the tomb, again just to give it that sort of somewhat buried look in the desert, tucked away. Making sure I get all sides of the mark here. we've got that down, we can put our palm tree back in place and just give a little bit of a look around the side here. I think I am happy with this. You'll see I've got a couple of sacks around the back side here and a chest for our adventurers to find, and there'll be more to come on that in a little bit. But as far as all the basic work here goes, we're looking pretty spiffy, and on to the next. Oh hey, here's another palm tree that I made. I ran out of those nose cones, really didn't have too many. So I used these reddish brown gray minifig heads essentially, and I think that worked out fine for what it is. I would prefer the nose cones, but again, using what I had and happy with the result. So hey, let's go look at our adventurers now. First off, we have a Dwarven Warlock, and I've given him an augmented staff with that eyepiece that came from the Githyanki Warlock from the D&D CMF. Given him this cool lavender turban, and the torso piece is from the Tiefling Sorcerer from the D&D CMF as well. And then the legs I got from K-Town Breaks, really like those. Next up, we have our human artificer. I've given him a couple different pieces here. Legs, arms, and hat come from the CMF 27 Steampunk Inventor. And then I've given him this really cool blunderbuss, which I got from Pickle Bricks. He's looking pretty spiffy, like the way he turned out. Our last adventure is a Tiefling Monk, and I got this really cool double-headed spear or glaive here from Pickle Bricks. The torso piece comes from one of the Ninjago sets, and the legs as well. I've changed those out though. I like the way that her tail managed to blend in with the torso there. It kind of looks like it's part of her outfit. That's cool. Here's just a quick look at the mounts of our adventures. We got 2 camels and then a war goat for our Dwarven Warlock, which I got from Pickle Bricks as well. Really dig that, actually. Now let's look at our villains. For part 1 here, we've got a rogue contingent of Githyanki, 2 fighters and a sorceress, and I try to keep the same sort of theme, the snake theme with those torso pieces, staff, and the shield as well. Okay, let's get into our scene. Our adventurers have traveled far to find the desert tomb of the Archlich, and they have finally arrived and are well prepared. Let's hope anyway. First off, they're going to encounter the door over here, and they know that there's going to be some sort of mechanism which they'll have to activate in order to get inside that door. What they don't know is that there is this rogue band of Githyanki waiting for them to do just that, because they haven't been able to get inside there. And so once the door is open, you can bet those Githyanki are going to attack. Here's just a look then at our heroes off of their mounts as they're about to interact with the door. We'll have to run perception, and perhaps our artificer is best able to figure out what mechanism is actually at work here and how to activate it. Meanwhile, the Githyanki are preparing for their surprise attack, waiting for that door to open and to catch our adventurers off guard. Hopefully, they will be able to respond in time. I just wanted to show you then quickly how that works. You push this panel in, then the door slides in and all the way back, and that's essentially it. I think it's pretty simple, but pretty cool the way it turned out. Okay, here's what a fight scene might look like once our Githyanki have sprung their surprise attack. But, you know, our adventurers should be a pretty good level at this point. Despite that surprise, should be able to deal with these rogue Githyanki without too much of an issue. This is then a look at some of the weapons they would leave behind: an axe, a shield, a staff, a great sword, and a spellbook. If our adventurers were able to roll more perception and look around, they would discover that there is a key hidden under the sand over here, a key that would open this mysterious chest hidden behind the tomb, that which the Githyanki perhaps hid. Once that key's uncovered though, my goodness, there are going to be a couple of scorpions that pop out of the sand, and our adventurers will have to deal with those quite swiftly. Shouldn't be a problem though. The artificer and the monk at least will have to deal with that while the warlock watches on. Once our adventurers have gained the key, they'll be able to open this chest. If any of your adventurers had a high enough lockpicking skill, they could probably attempt that as well. And once that chest has been opened, there'll be a lot of loot inside, some gems, some bars of gold, a special ring, and a spell to wake the dead, or speak with the dead. Here's a look inside the tomb before our adventurers get in there. There's an artifact in there, a red skull artifact, and there's also an elixir of frost essence, which our adventurers could try to claim through acrobatics or through telekinesis, perhaps. This is where the stairs will lead down to the tomb below. Here's just a little depiction of what a scene might look like with our adventurers discovering these treasures and preparing then to walk down below. But who knows, it might be a gamble to remove that red skull artifact. It might alert something down below to the presence, the arrival of our adventurers. That is something they might have to consider. Okay then, here is a look at some of the items our adventurers would have found thus far, including the Frost Essence, this spell book with a Speak with the Dead spell or Raise the Dead spell, and that really cool ring, which I'm going to say is a Ring of Merkel. You can go look that up if you want to know what that is. But thank you so much for watching this episode. Tune in the next couple weeks for part 2 when our adventurers delve deeper into the tomb and discover the horrors that are waiting for them there. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.